reversing its position in shocking testimony.
Oh, wait, we did?
Wait.
Yeah,
Everyone,
you do that. They're deboned in federal court, and then the next day they're like, oh, wait, yeah, I think, oh, wait, yeah, we did.
Whoa. In shocking testimony, Trump appointed acting U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan said when jurors voted to indict Comey on 2 of the 3 counts submitted in the original indictment, the full grand jury had not reviewed a final revised document. Instead, only a jury 4-person and an additional grand juror saw the document. But in a court filing yesterday entitled Government's Notice Correcting the Record, federal prosecutors...
It was originally titled, wait, my bad. But go ahead.
Federal prosecutors took back that claim, saying the full grand jury actually did review the final indictment and disputed arguments by Comey's defense team that it is invalid. Halligan, Trump's former personal attorney who has no prior prosecuting experience, also released an unusual statement yesterday criticizing the judge in the case.
Oh, that always helps.
By mischaracterizing comments he made on Wednesday.
Oh, that always helps.
Writing in part, quote, personal attacks like Judge Nachmanoff referring to me as a puppet don't change the facts or the law.
All right, so anyway,
oh my God.
She should be so lucky that statements could change the facts or the law, Jonathan, because they all work against her. They all work against the Department of Justice, and they all work for James Comey here.
Yeah, I mean, it was really just an embarrassment.
Hard to watch.
We talked the other day. I think the Times characterized it as an excruciating session there in the courtroom, and they made mistake after mistake after mistake. Yesterday, we're seeing some pushback here, some attempting to get the case back on track. But we've talked to legal experts all week long who have said, like, these are gifts for the Comey defense here. And to the broader point, just the sloppiness that has suddenly permeated the Trump administration, where for the first 6-ish months, they largely enacted what they wanted to do. People disagreed with some of the legality of it, but they had their agenda, Project 2025 infused, and they got a lot done. That seems to be careening off the rails, and rapidly. And the president, as someone put to me, is acting like he's in his final months of his term.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, as opposed to still year 1. And I think the pressure, this seems to be the pressure is building about, because of this, all of these things going wrong at once, he's seeing the midterm slip away. He knows how hard his life would get.
That's what I don't understand at this point.
Potentially, too. Sorry, Joe. I was just going to say, like, the Supreme Court ruling on tariffs is coming up.
Yeah.
Like, that has been so key to his governing, so key to how he has tried to reshape the U.S. economy, the world economy. And if that comes down from a Supreme Court that is a majority in conservative with 3 appointees from his first term, that'll be such a blow to him. And that is hanging over him, just like all of these other things. So let's look at what's bothering him. Wow. Those are the things.
Yeah, let me ask you, what's going on, though, inside the White House? I know this sounds like a stupid question because, well, I'm asking it, so it is. But put all that aside, they have to get to 60 votes in the Senate to pass any law that will have a lasting effect. All of these presidential orders that he signed are going to be reversed by the next president. So is there nobody in the White House that's saying, let's get a Democrat over here? Let's figure out how to get to 60 votes. Let's build your legacy, Mr. President, because your Truth Social posts and the insults and the executive orders, those will all just vanish.
So your question is, are people around him saying that? I think the answer
is he hearing that from
I think the answer to that is no. I mean, I think one of the big differences between Trump 2.0 and Trump 1.0 are the people that the president surrounded himself with. If they were looking further down the line at his legacy, then some of those are points that they would be making. But this is a president who largely during his second term has governed by executive order and had some success during the first several months, and now he's coming up against those limitations, including the 60 votes that you're referring to, and those limitations are real.
And the idea of outreach to Democrats, just this week, Trump claimed he'd been talking to Democrats on some health care things. Hakeem Jeffries spoke to every member of his caucus. There's been no conversations.
No talks.
There has been no talks between the White House and any Democrat on any of these issues. The extent of his outreach to Democrats is calling for their execution.
Well, the thing is, I mean, it sounds radical, but he may find his life in Washington much easier, Willie, if he does start talking to Democrats. if he says we have an affordability problem, let's start with health care. We know Obamacare is very popular right now, but we also know that the price for it continues to go up. We also, I mean, they could come to a deal with Democrats and the president on health care in general, like health care coverage, that just something simple that would help Donald Trump and Democrats. Like, for instance, if a doctor orders up a test and says something is medically necessary, your private health care insurance company can't deny that coverage. Or if you have coverage and then you get home, there can't be hidden billing. You can't have a doctor say, oh, here, you got to go get this test and it's covered here. And then suddenly you come home and you have a $1,000 bill for some test that is going to put you behind on paying groceries and paying your rent for the next 6 months.
And that would actually help people's lives. It's not sexy, it doesn't make a fun, true social post, but that actually would make a difference to Americans' lives. And I'll tell you, if these ACA subsidies expire on December 31st, there's going to be real pain for a lot of people, not just Democrats and Republicans across the country, and that's not going to help.